All right, I'm going to break the future lessons into 3 parts. And usually the way I do my lessons, my private lessons, is I will teach, first part will be exercises, and that will build up your speed and dexterity. Part 2 will be chords, explaining every chord in all 5 positions on the neck. And then the third will be your modes or scales and the theory of how it all works together. So I will start calling these like 3A, 3B, 3C. So in this one, we'll start out with our first exercise. This exercise will use alternate picking. And if we pick down strokes, that's called a downstroke. If we pick up, it's called an upstroke. If we go down, up, down, up, down, up, that's called alternate picking. And that's really the only way to get fast, is to play alternate picking. So we're going to incorporate alternate picking in all our exercises and within our scale practices later on. So this first one, you're looking at our picking hand, our fretting hand. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is a sequence we're going to play these notes in. You're going to play your first finger, second finger, third, and then your fourth. So we start on let's start on the 2nd fret, for instance. On the 6th string here, F sharp. And you're going to play with a downstroke. And the next note on G here, you're going to play with your 2nd finger, and you're going to pick up. The next note, you're going to play with your ring finger and pick down again. And then the last, your pinky, you're going to pick up. So I'm going to do it slow. So you're going to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. You're going to place your fingers the same time you pick. Now, when you first start doing alternate picking, like everything else, you want to say it out loud. It's just as we say E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, right, to learn those notes. The same as we played the pattern 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2. You're going to say you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is pretty simple. But if you're really getting the picking, you want to say down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, just till you really get the hang of it. So this first exercise is that sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to play this as slow as you have to play it for it to be perfect. So you might be playing this slow in the beginning. All right, that's fine. As long as you're fretting the notes good, you're not getting any buzzing, you're playing behind the fret, and you're picking down, up, down, up. All right, so once you get the hang of just the exercise on one string, you're going to move this exercise now across the strings. So you're going to go 6th string, 5th string, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. So if I play it slow, and I will say down, up, so you know what my right hand is doing. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. All right. Again, in the beginning, you're going to be going slow. Might be going this slow. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. You may have to look at your picking hand. Down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now, once you kind of start getting the hang of this, you want to work with a metronome. If you don't have a metronome, you can get a free download on your app, and it just gives you a steady beat. All right, and you can speed that up or slow it down as you need. And the way to get fast and accurate is to always work with a metronome, especially when practicing these exercises. So you want to get a metronome, and you want to put it very slow, maybe around 60 or 70, even slower if you need it. And you want to, I usually do 2 notes per beat. So for example, it'd be... That's just me clicking my tongue. You could even do, 4 16 notes per beat. Playing, the 1 on the beat. Or you can play it every beat. It really doesn't matter as long as you work slow to the point where you're playing it perfect. If you're playing and you're messing up, you are way too fast. You need to play everything as perfect as you can play it, and to do that, you have to play it at a speed you can play it perfect. And if you're not playing at that speed, you got to slow it down. Think of it this way: you have to crawl on your belly till you can get up on your knees, and then you can get up on your haunches and do a duck walk. Then you can stand and do a walk, and then you can jog, and then you can run, and then you can sprint, and then you can fly. You have to start at the slowest, so slow it kills you to even play at that speed. But trust me, it will pay off in the end. Don't think if I want to play fast today, think if I want to play fast eventually when I get there. And trust me, when you get there and use a metronome, you will be consistently fast. I see players all the time, and I used to have this problem, was I'd practice, and one day I could play real fast, and the next day I was sloppy. And I would mess up, and then go a while, and then I'd play real fast, and the next day I was never consistent until I read an article by Steve I think it was, and you have to really go back and train yourself with a metronome at a crawling speed and play it perfect. Now, when you get a perfect at a certain speed, you can speed it up a couple of notches and try it at that speed. Now, if you're messing up, slow it back down. But you want to slowly, over days or weeks, start speeding that up, all right, and eventually you will get to where you're playing very fast and consistent. So the big key on this is once you get the 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're playing down, up, you want to switch to the next string and do the same sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4. The key is to not pause between strings. So you don't want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You want each note to be equal. All right, so that's where the metronome will come in handy. It makes you change. So you want it to sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, you want to be each note to have the same amount of time as the last note. Now, when you're first beginning these exercises, you want a couple of things to help you play cleaner. And the first one is your fingers. My finger here is playing the note here, the F sharp, but the fat of my finger is muting the 5th string. You can also have your finger laying on the other strings, and that'll help mute. All right, as you go, so each finger you play, the fat of that finger can touch that string behind it to help mute it. When you go to the 5th string, the tip of my finger is touching the 6th string, helping mute it. So all these fingers, you want to kind of touch the string in front of it, and the meat of your finger will be muting the string back here. So just as you're playing real slow, think of your fingers, try to touch the string in front of it with the tip just to mute it. All right, when it's here, you want to also make sure the meat of your finger, if you can hear that string ring, you're not muting it. Make sure it's leaning over enough. So that's the big thing about playing clean. And I see a lot of people that can technically play, but they're very sloppy sounding. And that's a lot of that reason. They never sit down and practice playing clean. All right, another thing is hand and arm position. Your arm, it's kind of hard to see with the camera, should be straight from your elbow all the way to your knuckles here. You shouldn't have your wrist bent. All right, so if I look, I got my elbow into my side, your elbow's into your side. Your arm is straight all the way to your knuckles. You're holding your thumb in the middle of the back of the neck. All right, and you're playing as hard as you need to get a sound, and that's it. You're not mashing this as hard as you can. So the way to kind of figure out how hard you want to play is you want to just lay your finger on the string, don't press at all, and start picking. You hear it, it's dead, and you start pushing down a little bit until you get a note. That's all as hard as you need to push. All right. Once you get the 1, 2, 3, 4 across the strings, now it's repetition time. Again, we've talked in the past, repetition, repetition, repetition. So now we're going to take this 1, 2, 3, 4 sequence. We're going to play from the 6th string to the 1st, slide it up a half step, and then go back down to the 6th string. So let me demonstrate. I'm going to do it fast, but you're going to go really slow with that metronome. So I'm still doing 1, 2, 3, 4 on each string. And then when you get here, you want to move up a half step, 1 fret, and go back to the 1st string. And repeat. Notice my fingers. I'm trying to touch the string in front of it with a tip. And I'm trying to get it where the fat of my finger is muting the string behind it. All right, you want to do that till you get up as high as you can. And then what you're going to do is start going down a half step. So go back to the 1st string, slide down a half step, go back to the 6th string, slide down a half step, down up, 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 down up. Always start with a downstroke. All right, so that is your first exercise. Again, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 sequence. You're playing with an alternate pick. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. You're going to be going very slow in the beginning, moving that to each string. Playing with a very slow metronome. When you get to the 1st string, you're going to slide up a half step. Still doing the 1, 2, 3, 4. Work your way back down to the 6th string. And repeat. And you'll see as you get higher up the neck, and the more you repeat, the easier it's going to get, the quicker you're going to get. And again, when you get to a speed mastered where you don't mess up, you speed it up a little. If it's too fast, slow back down. You just keep doing that over weeks, all right, and you will get really fast. All right, that's exercise 3A exercises.